Right, mud flaps. Go here to stop your car getting covered in mud. Look at my lovely carbon bits here, all covered in mud. So obviously, seriously, if you put your mud flap here, that's going to stop a lot of this spray coming up, especially on the lower part of your corner. Actually, side steps are also really good at keeping a lot of this dirt off. And if you've got, your car will be a lot cleaner if you have both side steps and mud flaps. So we'll probably get on and do the side steps as well. But this video is going to be about fitting mud flaps, and we're going to do all four, aren't we? We're going to go large. This is front and rear mud flaps. So we're going to put the front ones on here, which fit on here, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. I wanted to just start the video with all the dirt and mud on there, and then Dan's going to wash the car for me, and we'll go into the workshop. And likewise at the back, you can see it's quite susceptible to a fair old bit of splattering on the back. And if you've got your rear parking sensor here and everything, it's not going to do us any good at all. And even some of it gets spread up on the back here, and you'll be scratching it all and doing all that. Right, so, and obviously then the rear mud flap's going to go on here. So we are now going to get down to wash the car, and then we're going to go in the workshop, have a look at the kit, have a look how to fit it, see if we can work it out and get it all mud flapped up. So we've got the car in the workshop, we're all in the drying, and we've put our first set of mud flaps on, and we've put them on this side so we can show you what it's like, but also so we can pretend we know what we're doing. So that is the front mud flap fitted there, and then let's have a look at the rear mud flap fitted, and we're going to show you how to do this in the video. There's the rear mud flap. Now I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say these are not the easiest set of mud flaps I've ever fitted, and I'm going to say they're one of the hardest set of mud flaps. And part of that is Land Rover's design. So the ones we fitted are not genuine Land Rover ones, but they are designed exactly the same. They're copied from the Land Rover ones. So let's have a look. Right, what have we got? Right, you won't be surprised here. We've got two front mud flaps. So let's just have a little look at those. So they're made from a sort of soft, sort of almost half rubber, half plasticky sort of. Do you want to do a little demonstrative twisty, sort of screw it up a bit? So there you go. So, which is ideal for mud flaps. You normally find that's the case. They've got a textured finish. They haven't got front, left or right written on them. They've got some writing on them, haven't they? But I can't see front, left or right written on them. Right. But they're the front, the long ones, sorry, these are the rear, and they're very identifiable because they've got this little stud that you can see there, moulded into the mud flap. And then you've got the front mud flaps, which is a similar deal. They're a lot shorter, and you can see some of the mounting holes there, and you can see some of the mounting points there, right? We've also, and you'll see why, we've had to laser cut some templates. And we'll show you how these work, and this makes it easier for you to position the holes when you're fitting the mud flaps. Hopefully that'll help. So if you buy the kit from us, we've designed these templates and cut them on our laser cut machine. Then you will get the fitting kit. Now, the Land Rover fitting kit I thought was somewhat complex, and we'll go through that as we go through the video. So we have changed some of the fittings. We've gone for a couple of these snap plastic fittings, which we find a better way of fitting some mud flaps. So Dan's laid it all out here. So this is what you need for the rear mud flaps, these here. We've put these bits here as optional. This extra washer and nut, and we'll show you why that is. And then the front fitting kit, he's laid out there as well. Front left and front right. They're the same left and right. So also in the kit, we are going to put a tube of silicone adhesive just to get a slightly better grip on the rear ones, because they're a little bit troublesome. Right, what tools are you going to need? Cordless drill, some grips, you got some sockets. What sockets we got there, Dan? 10 and an 8, fairly standard. And we got a 10mm spanner, a little Allen key, because some of these bolts here, you'll notice I've got a little hex head on them. Can you remember what size that is, Dan? Don't worry if you can't, no. We've got a couple of drills. They're about what are they, Dan? Can you remember? Like a 10 and a 6. And we've got a screwdriver and one of these trim tools. We may need the trim tool. And then a marking pen and some masking tape. Right, enough waffling, let's get on. Right, what are we going to do? We're going to do the front first, aren't we, Dan?
Yep.
So basically, grab that front mud flap. Oh, it's over here. Sorry, Dan. It's over here already. So this is going to be fitted. Now, you're going to have to drill your car. Now, the good news is we're only drilling this little sub panel here, which, if you've seen our other video where we changed these side skirts, this is an easily changeable panel. We're going to take the panel off. We're going to drill 2 holes in the side here, and then we are going to drill 1 hole and fit a new fitting up from the underside. So, Dan, I reckon the first thing to do is to take that screw out the bottom of that one and get that panel off, yeah?
Yep.
Right, now one thing to note, we have done 2 things here. We have put our car in the off-road mode, which makes the suspension raise up. If you don't know how to do that, let me know, or look in your handbook. Makes it easier to access, and we've turned the wheels. So the genuine instructions tell you to take your wheels off. I don't think you need to take your wheels off for this. No, Dan is shaking his head vigorously. No, you do not. Right, obviously be careful. Be careful if you're working underneath the car when it's raised, but I don't think we've got much danger of killing ourselves. Right, and do you want to whip that panel off then, Dan? Get that screw out and let's do this thing. I'll grab these other bits for you, Dan. Right, so there is a screw hidden underneath here. Oh, guys, let me have a little look. There we go. Right, and then it's a little crosshead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, posi drive. Right, and there's just the one of those. And then that panel's on poppers then. I think you got it there, Dan. Right, let's have a look at that little screw. Go on, let's have a...
That gets thrown anyway.
That gets thrown, yes. Land Rover say throw that in the bin. Our viewers aren't going to throw it in the bin. They're going to put it in the toolbox. Right. So then you've got to yank this panel and it sort of goes that way. Go on, Dan. Oh. Now, let's have a look how that's fixed on then. Let's have a look at the fixings. So you've got these 4 little plastic little... whatever they're called. What are we going to call those? Spear-headed little poppers there. And then you can see there's that hole at the bottom there in the middle of the shot there where that screw went up. So that's the panel. Right. I reckon... Now, you want to grab the camera, Dan? I'll do some more waffling. Right then. So that's the panel on the car. And that is obviously going to sit on there. So what Dan's done is he's put the fittings in to show you how they go. So what we're going to do is we need to drill 2 holes in this panel for these 2 bolts here, and I'll go through that bit. And then we've got to fit this little captive nut onto the underside of the car, and that's where that screw went up. So notice which hole that's going through. So as you look here, you've got this sort of 3 screws here, and it's the one nearest this rib at the top here that you're going to use. Okay. Right, so let's have another little look. Now what you'll notice is the screws, these 2 screws here, actually go up into this here. Now they've given you one with an Allen key head, because you can get your Allen key, you can get sort of round and in there with the right angle on your Allen key. So I'm going to take that fixing off. Dan just put these in to show you. So that's that. You've got 2 washers there, one on the inside, one on the outside. Okay. Now this one at the top, because you can't get your Allen key in, they've obviously worked out you need to have a bolt in here. So again, we've got a nut and a washer on the inside. Now I think the genuine Land Rover fittings have a combined, like a flange nut, where it's one thing with the nut and the washer. And then this one here, you have to sort of, to get it in, but you'll notice that's a hex head, so you can get your spanner on that to tighten it up. But that's why you've got one hex head at the top where you can't get your Allen key in. Why they didn't give you 2 hex heads, I've got no idea. But ask Land Rover that, not me. Right, so let's just go through this again. So that is now going to go on there. And that's all great. That's easy, right? We've got a clearance hole there, which is where that fitting there goes up through. And we've got to drill 2 holes for those 2 bolts to go through. But how are you supposed to work out? Now, don't they say just hold it on and then get your pen in there? Well, how are you going to do that without moving it? Some right angle pen. We haven't worked that out. Right, so we've designed our little template. So what we're going to do is, let me just grab the masking tape there. Ooh. Right then. And I'm going to put a bit of masking tape over my lovely carbon effect thing there. Alright. 2 reasons we're using masking tape. One is you can see the pen mark better, and secondly, when we come to drill, it's less likely to wander. Let me just get that template out. Right, this is a work of genius. I would say that, wouldn't I? Right. Now, Julian's done this for us on the laser today. So this template will do for both sides, and this is the front one. Okay, now, we've made these edges wiggly so you don't try and line them up with anything. But the other 2 edges should line up with the top there. Alright, so line that up just so you can see the top. And then this curve matches the curve of that. And then that should give you the location for drilling the holes, right? Okay, you happy with that, Dan?
Yep.
Right. Now, when you're drilling, you could put a little sort of... Oh gosh, that didn't do very good, did it? There you go. Because sometimes when you start drilling, you can't see your hole. So I'm going to make a little mess of that. Right. We happy with that? Look at that. Yeah, right. Okay. And then we're going to... What size drill are we going to use on that one, Dan?
The 6 or the 8.
That one?
Yeah, the smaller one.
The smaller one. Right. They're M6, so I think you probably want to be about an 8 to give you 1 millimetre of wiggle room. So don't drill. Actually, I reckon I can use that as a sort of cunning little rest there. For that. Alright. Now the masking tape should stop it wiggling about. Right then. That's those 2. Now what about that? Is that bottom one big enough? That bottom one's big enough, isn't it? Yeah. We don't need to do anything there. Right, Dan's done. Dan should be doing this, really. Right then. So we got that done. We can take that off now, can't we, Dan? We've got no reason to... Right. So now we should... So now we've got to redo these bits here. Let me just take that bottom bolt off. Right. Now we've got to put that on the car. We'll do that in a second. But let's get this bolted up to that. So this is the one we've got to wriggle in again. So I've got to bend the... Take some wriggling to get this in. I'm making this look difficult. Here we go. It is difficult. I reckon Land Rover had the apprentice design these. Right then. So that's that one. Now the other one we'll probably get in. I reckon I'm going to get that one in. So yeah, so that's that. Get that top one in first. So that's the hexagonal one, and then whip the nut and the washer on that. Now hold on, have I got? Yeah, I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah. Yeah, because it's what we've got on the. You won't be able to see this. This will be in the car. So the bits you can sort of see are black. The bits you can't sort of see once it's fitted are silver. Right. And with that one in, it's going to be easier then to get this second one in. So let's so those bits go on the inside. So you got the washer, and this is one of those Allen head bolts, cap head bolts even. And we're going in. You won't be able to see this on the camera, but it's going in through there. And with any luck, look at that. Our holes line up thanks to our trusty template. And there you go. That hole's coming through there. And put that on. Right, and we're all looking, and it should all be lining up. If I do that, is that all looking pretty snug there? Yeah. Right, and we'll get the socket on those, but before we do, right, now that is all we can do because, no. So we'll get the socket on, do those up. That hole there is lined up, you can see there, going through there. And the last bolt is going to go up from the bottom. And that's where this screw used to go up through. So what we've got to do is have a look under there. I'm going to go and grab the light. And we've got to look under there. And we've got to fit this that way up into the bit up there. So let's have a look at that. Now you did that, Dan. So I think let me just, what am I grabbing? Right, so I'm lying under the car. There's the front wheel there. And what we're looking at is this bit here. Let me just make sure I'm on the right bit. So Dan, if you pull that bit of sort of carpety wheel arch liner back, it exposes that rusty rusty little clip there. So that's the one for the self-tapper. So you got to pull that off if you can, Dan. And which way does it come? It comes out towards, like, away from the centre of the car. Yeah, that's that off. And then you've got to try and get that new one on. You got it with the lump facing upwards. Right. That's not too bad a fit, is it?
No.
And then make sure, obviously, that you've got a hole there. Might even be worth just checking the bolt passes through that hole before you start fiddling around underneath too much. Pass me the bolt. You got the bolt there, then? Yeah, let me just have a look at that. Because you got to make sure it's... Yeah, I'm struggling actually, Dan. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is a bit I struggle with it.
Yeah, so I think you got to get that lined up before you... Yeah, because there's nothing to sort of key it in. You can wiggle it a bit sideways. There you go, hold on. That's better. Yeah, so I've got that in now. So you should be... He says I've got it in. Yeah. Yeah, I'll double check that. That's... It really... I'm trying to... Are we back too far? Or... I can feel it. Yeah, that's it there, yeah. Yep. Right, so whip that out again once you know that's in line. And then I guess it's going to, when we screw it back up now, that's all. Let me zip out from under here. We've seen enough under that. How's my gimbal? Is my gimbal there? No, I've lost my gimbal. Oh yeah, he's still there, he's still there. So when Dan's tightening those bolts up as I was fiddling around underneath. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, so that assembly now all pops back on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if you just line that up there.
And just making sure you trap the carpet bit in.
Oh, you got to get that little... Right, and give that a tap. A firm tap I would, Dan, rather than just pushing. You got to give it a little boing. That's it. All right. And now we've got to just do that bolt. So rather than you watch me under the car, we'll fit that final bolt there. Right, we've now got round to the rear, and this is the mud flap we're looking to fit on the rear. And as you can see, it's got three. So this top one is the molded in bolt. So this is molded in. We put a nut on it there. The second one down. Oh, if I can get the camera right, that's that one there, and you can see that one's fitted from inside there, and that's got one of the hexagonal bolts on it. And then you've got one underneath. Now you'd think, well, that's all right. And we've got one of our magic templates. So have a go with our magic template. So again, we've got the wavy edge, the two wavy edges are just in the middle of the. But what if you hold it on there, Dan? Oh, let's put the masking tape on first. Put the masking tape on first. That's it. Just go all the way down that little molded bit there, all the way underneath. That's it, smooth all that out. I'll make sure we can see that top line where it put your little finger in there. That's it, course. Right, and then there you go, offer that up then, Dan, and get your Sharpie pen ready. And so we line that up, and that should follow all the way round. Now, what have we done with the pen? I've lost the pen, Dan. He's got it. Come on, Dan, where's the pen? Right. Right, do you want me to help you, or you got it? Yeah, you got it about right?
Right.
Now I'll keep holding that, Dan. And then if you bend the template round, it should still follow the edge. Is it following the edge around the bottom there? And then if you follow it all the way round underneath, it should give you your last point there. Right, and we've got tape on all of those 3 points, right? So that's given us now the 3 holes we need to drill. Now, the problem is, if I drill through here, and you can't get to the back of it, even if you remove the wheel arch line, even if I go, because behind this panel, which is actually removable, and we'll do another video on this, there is an inner plastic. And so what the genuine instructions tell you to do is you've got to get a multi-tool and hack out here on the inner arch behind the liner to get to this bolt. Now, you can do that if you're really keen, and if you look at the Land Rover instructions, and we'll put a link down below, or down there in the little comment, and we'll put you the link to the genuine Land Rover instructions so you can reference them if you want, if you don't believe what I'm saying here. But what we're going to do is we're going to drill the holes, we are gonna leave this one because actually the threaded bolt seems to act a bit like a barbed fixing, and that's why we say it's optional. If it's optional, if you want, you can get a nut on the back. And what we're going to use is two of these little sort of push rivet fixings on the other two holes, because that means we don't need to get to the back of them. They're not going to rust, and they hold. There's no way you're getting those out. We tried to get one out on the other side, didn't we? In the end, we had to hacksaw through it to get it out. So these are going nowhere. And they're super quick. So let's have a go, Dan. Right, are you going to drill? Do you want to draw the cross on there, Dan?
You still need to take this out just because it gets in the way.
Okay. So we've got it jacked up. Obviously, I can't turn the wheels on the back. You might need a stumpy little screwdriver for that. Right, yeah, we've changed to a slightly shorter, stumpier screwdriver there. And Dan, there's only one screw there. I'm on my squeaky trolley. I've got to oil my bearings on my trolley. So yeah, this is just holding the wheel arch liner in place. Now, bear in mind my car's the crash damaged gem, so your car might have more screws than mine. Mine's only got one in. Is there any evidence there should be more than that, Dan? Did the genuine instructions say there'd be more than that?
No, they didn't.
No.
Actually.
Don't give me a hard time if it's more than one screw. And just tough that out the way. Only just so we don't drill into it, really, right? It's because there's nothing else we need to access behind there as such, is there? Right then, go on then, Dan. You could draw a little cross like I did, or you could just be savage like Dan. He's just Dan don't care. It's not his car. Give it a good, that's it. Give it a good push. Just almost make a dent in it before you start, Dan. That's it. Oh. Right, where's that one under there, Dan? And we've got enough room with the drill, haven't we, to get in there. Now we're in off-road mode. That's right. I got you, Dan. I got you. Oh, there's some wiring. Check there's no wiring in the way. I've got to work out what that wiring is. Got it. Right. So we now have our 3 holes, thanks to our template. The template obviously will work the same on the other side. Right, I reckon we can remove that masking tape. Whoosh. Right, and then we should have 3 holes in the perfect position. So spin those 2 bottom fittings out. Obviously the top fitting is, you can spin the nut and bolt off, but it's fixed. So we'll get that ready and offer it up. So we just test fitted that, and that seems to line up okay. So we'll put a tube of this silicone adhesive in, and I'll suggest you put some of it round that. What do we reckon, Dan? I reckon just put some of it around that bolt there, because that's the wall, and around this surface here. But not too much so it starts to go outside. We can wipe it off if it does. That's right. Use the cap, punch it. Go a bit round up to the top there. Bit of squidges out. I'll get the baby wipes out. There you go. Yeah, a bit more on there. Go on, a bit more down on this middle bit where my thumb is there. There you go. Right. Cool. Right, now, so that should now act as a barbed fitting. That thread, we're not going to put the other nut on the other side, are we, Dan? No. So when you push it in, we should hear it sort of like rasp in. There you go. Right. And then what you're going to do is get your 2-part fittings, and then he's going to push them up through the hole in the mudguard that's already there, and then it should go through the hole, and those pointy lugs on the end of the fitting should help it sort of line up, shouldn't it now? Yeah. He says. Well, your tops come out. Yeah, don't push on the top. You've got to push on the shoulder, really, haven't you? Yeah. You could almost take that middle bit out first, Dan. If you're struggling. Right, so before we fit this up, we've obviously got the silicone on. Those 2 bottom holes, we've just remembered, need to be drilled out to the bigger diameter. What size is that? So this should be 10 now. Yeah. Yeah, so 10mm, which is the second drill. Only the bottom 2 holes, though. Just gently. Watch. That's it. On that. And that other one, just to enlarge those. Right. And then the other tip we've got is if you take these two-part fittings, actually it might be easier to take, what we've done is we've taken the middle bit out of the fitting completely. So we're just pushing the main body in, and we'll put the central pin in a minute. It just means you can push on the front more. So there you go, Dan. You want to try and offer that up, put the mud flap up, get that top bolt lined up. That's it. You got it? Right, and there you go. And then you got your fitting. Let me just try to help you a little bit if I can. And that should go through the mud flap and then through the inner fitting. I'd get the second one on there, Dan. And then we'll put the middle pins in last. He's putting that. Sorry, it's not very good on the camera. Go on then. We good?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just grab those centre pins and put those centre pins in. So with those tight, that's that rear mud flap fitted. I'm not convinced about these rear mud flaps. They're okay. There is a bit of a gap at the bottom if you look under there. They fit nicely round the side, and up round here is fine. And they mould in, but there's a little gap at the back, and it is tricky. The way they've got it fitted, it is tricky. We've just got to refit that rear wheel arch there. But there you go, that is the best we can do with the wheel arches on a Range Rover Sport. So good luck with that.